Imagine a moment so profoundly overwhelming, so utterly life-altering, that it brings you to your knees. Not in defeat, but in a flood of pure, unadulterated triumph. You've just clicked refresh for the 100th time, your heart hammering against your ribs, and then, there it is. An email, nestled innocently in your inbox, with a subject line that makes your breath catch in your throat. You open it, your hands shaking so violently you can barely hold the mouse. And as you read those words, a dam breaks. Tears stream down your face, hot and fast, blurring the screen, but you don't care. Because in that single, shattering instant, every single doubt, every single harsh word, every single moment of struggle from your entire life, vanishes. That's exactly where our storyteller found themselves, just moments after opening an acceptance letter that confirmed a dream so audacious, they'd barely dared to whisper it aloud. Accepted. To graduate school. The words hit them like a physical blow, stripping away years of self-doubt and replacing it with an intoxicating mix of joy, disbelief, and a profound sense of vindication. It was an explosion of emotion so intense, so deeply personal, that they felt compelled to share it, even if just with the internet. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey of resilience and triumph, if you're enjoying this story, please take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring Reddit tales, and drop a comment below telling us about a time you proved someone wrong. To truly understand the weight of that acceptance letter, we have to rewind, way back to a different kind of ending. An ending that, at the time, felt like a beginning of nothing. Our narrator was just 14 years old when they made a choice that many saw as a harbinger of failure. They dropped out of high school. 14. Most kids at that age are worried about crushes, grades, or what's for dinner. Our storyteller was grappling with something far more complex, a life that felt out of control, a system that didn't seem to fit, and a future that looked bleak and undefined. Imagine the whispers, the knowing glances, the outright judgments. If you can't even get up for high school, how are you going to have a real job? This wasn't just a question, it was a sentence, delivered by well-meaning adults and scornful peers alike, slowly chipping away at any glimmer of self-worth. They were told, implicitly and explicitly, that they wouldn't amount to much. That their path was set, their potential capped, their future dim. And for a long time, they believed it. But beneath the surface of that despondency, a tiny spark of defiance flickered. Life went on, and eventually, a new path emerged, one that many turned to when seeking structure, purpose, and a chance to redefine themselves: the military. The army wasn't just a job, it was a crucible. It stripped away the old identity, the labels of dropout and failure, and began to forge something new. It demanded discipline, resilience, and a commitment to something larger than oneself. Every early morning, every grueling training exercise, every challenge faced and overcome, chipped away at the ingrained belief that they were incapable. The army taught them that they could get up, they could commit, they could succeed when pushed to their limits. It was an environment that, ironically, gave them the tools they needed to eventually revisit the very system they had abandoned years before. The experience instilled a newfound sense of self-worth and capability, a quiet confidence that had been utterly absent during their turbulent teenage years. After serving, the world looked different. The structure of military life was gone, but the discipline remained. The question now was, what next? The thought of college, of a degree, must have seemed ludicrous to many who knew their past. But something had shifted. Perhaps it was the camaraderie of service, the realization that they were capable of extraordinary things. Maybe it was the quiet voice of ambition, finally given room to breathe. They decided to take the plunge, to embark on the daunting journey of earning a bachelor's degree. This wasn't just about getting a piece of paper, it was about reclaiming their narrative, proving not to the doubters, but to themselves, that they were worthy of more. It was an act of profound self-belief, a decision to rewrite a story that had been prematurely, and unfairly, judged. Returning to academia as an adult, especially after dropping out at 14, is a challenge most people can barely fathom. There were likely moments of intense insecurity, feeling out of place among younger students, grappling with subjects that felt entirely alien. But our narrator didn't just get by, they thrived. Imagine the late nights, the early mornings, the sheer mental fortitude required to not only catch up but to excel. Every essay submitted, every exam aced, was a quiet victory against the ghosts of their past. They didn't just pass, they soared. The announcement that they graduated summa cum laude with a 3.9 GPA isn't just a statistic, it's a testament to incredible willpower, unwavering dedication, and an insatiable hunger for knowledge. It's the culmination of years of hard work, a resounding "I told you so" not shouted at others, but whispered reverently to their younger, doubtful self. This wasn't just about good grades, it was about proving that the "if you can't get up for high school" narrative was a lie, a damaging falsehood that had no bearing on their true potential. They weren't just the first in their family to hold a higher education degree, they were doing it with an excellence that few achieve, even those without such a challenging start. For many, a bachelor's degree, especially with such stellar marks, would be the finish line. A well-deserved rest. But for our narrator, it became a springboard. The taste of academic success, the joy of intellectual challenge, and the newfound confidence had opened up a world of possibilities. The idea of a master's degree began to form, a new peak to conquer. This wasn't driven by external pressure, it was an internal calling. It was the desire to delve deeper, to specialize, to push the boundaries of their own capabilities even further. The journey had transformed them, not just academically, but as a person. They had gone from a lost 14-year-old to a decorated veteran, to a summa cum laude graduate. Graduate school was the next logical, yet still incredibly ambitious, step in this remarkable evolution. Applying to graduate school is a tense process. The applications are rigorous, the competition fierce, and the wait agonizing. Every day that passed without an answer was filled with a familiar dread, a faint echo of the old doubts attempting to creep back in. What if I'm not good enough? What if this was a fluke? But they pushed those thoughts away, holding on to the memory of their past triumphs. And then, the email arrived. The one that caused the initial cascade of tears, the one that brought us to the beginning of this story. The words "accepted into graduate school" weren't just an offer, they were a validation. A profound affirmation that every step, every stumble, every late night, every moment of self-doubt and every act of defiance had led to this very point. It wasn't just a personal victory, it was a family one. The first person in their family to hold a higher education degree, now aiming for an even higher one. A legacy redefined, a new chapter written not just for themselves, but for generations to come. And in that moment of tears, of raw, unfiltered joy, another emotion surfaced, a quiet, profound sense of vindication. All those voices, all those dismissive comments, all those people who said they wouldn't make it far, they were wrong. So utterly, completely wrong. The "if you can't get up for high school, how are you gonna have a real job?" crowd faded into the background, their words exposed as hollow echoes against the backdrop of this monumental achievement. This isn't about bitterness or rubbing it in anyone's face. It's about the deep satisfaction of knowing you defied expectations, not just for others, but for the person you once were. It's about the truth in every single word of that powerful quote from Biggie Smalls, a raw, defiant declaration of triumph, "To all the teachers that told me I would never amount to nothing." Our narrator is living proof that labels are often limitations imposed by others, and true potential knows no bounds when fueled by resilience and a fierce determination to rise. They are the living embodiment of turning adversity into unparalleled success. This story isn't just about an acceptance letter, it's about the incredible power of the human spirit to overcome, adapt, and utterly shatter limitations. It's a reminder that your past does not define your future, and that with enough grit and self-belief, you can rewrite any narrative, no matter how bleak it once seemed. What an inspiration! This person has not only achieved something remarkable but has also paved the way, showing countless others that dreams, no matter how distant, are always within reach. If this story resonated with you, if it sparked a flicker of hope or determination, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys of resilience and triumph. Until next time, keep dreaming big, and never let anyone tell you what you can't achieve.